Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, hotep. Assalamu Allah. Peace, peace. Today, we're going to build on an important jewel from Messenger Elijah Muhammad's book, The Theology of Time, which is also in tape form. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Alifullah. And family, I would like to share with you something that the Messenger of Allah shared with us. The Messenger teaches us that he is Allah. Ali, what you talking about? Some FOIs and MGT knew this for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, a lot of brothers and sisters, they believe it, but they can't articulate it. They cannot manifest their own wisdom or explain it, if you will. You know what I mean? But if you were to question any of the FY and MGT on the life-giving, original, divine, direct teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, it'll be crystal clear that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has to be Allah also. Why? How can he teach us that the black man is God? How can he teach us the last thing he taught us in his last Savior's Day, February 26, 1974? He taught us at his last Savior's Day, and it's in print form, it's on video. You can find it on YouTube. Just go to Savior's Day 1974. It's well known. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained to us that every time you look at the black man, you're looking at God. Now, as a minister of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings, and I've been teaching as a appointed minister for over 40 years now, and I have seen numerous times where believers simply did not understand the messenger's message. I have entered into different temples and mosques and ciphers and individually built with different brothers. And, when I hear that explanation on the reality of God, it's mixed up with Christianity, pseudosciences, misunderstanding, misinterpretation, a lack of information. Now, see, the younger people, we wasn't alive in the 1930s. We wasn't at Savior's Day 1974 and 60 and 59 and 58 and things of that nature. So all we can do is take and go off of the original teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Personally, the major mistake I have found believers making is, instead of doing it like a science, and when I say science, you want to look at what's not disputed, what's the clear facts here. Know what I mean? And like one of the first things I did when I got the Messenger books, I took the books and I looked at, when did he publish this? When was it copyrighted? And I looked at the dates. Okay, 1957, Supreme Wisdom Book 1. You got 1957, the Muslim Daily Prayers. 1957, Supreme Wisdom Book 2, Message of the Black Man in America. 1965, you got How Need to Live, Book 1. 1972, The Fall of America. 1973, How Need to Live, Book 2, 1972. Theology of Times is in 1970. So what you basically want to do is mathematically first just take your literature and try to put it in order. Now, see, when you have chaos or confusion, you have bitter. Now, but, the universal law of Ma'at, you want to bring about that balance, that freedom, that justice, that equality. You want to balance it all out. And the best way to do that is by painstakingly and meticulously trying to put stuff in its proper place and time. That way you won't be misunderstanding something. You won't be overlooking the big things and, exaggerating the little things, if you will. I mean, long story short, it's crystal clear that the Theology Muhammad teaches us that the black man is God. Some people interpret that as meaning only adult males are gods. The messenger teaches us, don't take what he say, hook, line, and sinker, piece it apart. Know what I mean? So the first thing we have to make clear is that when we say that Allah came to person Master Muhammad, according to the Theology Muhammad, I'm gonna give you, the sources. I'll say his Rab, his last book, 1974, he explained to us that Allah is all of us, but we have a supreme one. Now, I mean, he don't even take the women out the equation, but he put them in their proper degrees mathematically. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So the way he basically explains it, when we say the black man is God, the black man includes the brown, the yellow, the red, as well as the albino man, who are all considered, according to the Theology Muhammad, black, because scientifically, theologically, he teaches us that all we really have is black and white, okay? But when we say the original man, we include the 2 million Indians, for example. I mean, that don't make us forget that we had a war with the Hindus for setting up partners with the original black man being God, or setting up partners with Allah, as they say. Now, I mean, and, this war was, long before organized, 35,000 years ago, according to Master Muhammad and Theology Muhammad. Now, I mean, so, a lot of people get confused about the reality of God. Now, interesting to me is different variables. Like, one, how our ancestors in different ancient civilizations of Sumer, the Nile Valley civilization, the ancient Kemetic or Black Egyptians, for example, they understood the black man was God. Contrary to a lot of spooky Egyptologists in this day and time, they, if you're really talking about the teachings of ancient Egypt, you believe the black man is God, the black woman is the goddess. You know what I mean? A lot of people just get as spooky as far as thinking you physically got die and float off in outer space and, UFOs and all kind of other things come into play. But the messenger is giving us a simple and clear teaching. The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. All right? So when we say man, like when we say message to the black man in America, that don't negate the woman. You got to understand that Elijah Muhammad was born in the 1800s. I mean, he got knowledge himself in the 1930s. During that time, when they used certain jargon and colloquial language, the word man meant humanity in this modern politically correct day and time. You know what I mean? To distinguish man or the original people, he would use mankind. But when he say mankind, he wasn't negating white women. When he say mankind or the KB, as Master Muhammad put in the problem, he talking about the whole Caucasian civilization. Now, I mean, all Europeans, whether they're Italians, French, German, Portuguese, or whatever the case may be, all right? And that concept that the black man is God, in this day and time, we would simplify it for people by explaining all black males are the God. We're not saying that they're gods, plural. We're not saying minds, plural, even though we use that vernacular sometimes because we speak in English. English is a bastard language. You know what I mean? So it's hard to convey the right spiritual science or the right determined idea. But in plain language, when we say all black males are God, are the God, what we're saying is that all of the black men physically on earth, even though they got individual brains, there's only one source of energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, okay? Scientists, they call it energy, all right? Religious people will call it alcoholic or the creator, all right? The creative force. In the Nation of Islam parlance, we simply use the word the mind, All right. Master Muhammad, you know, when we say the mind of man, what we're saying is that the mind is unseen. The mind is infinite. The physical black man, we're not saying a physical black man is stronger than a gorilla, faster than a cheetah, can live longer than the trees in California and things of that nature there. That's not natural. That's not what we mean. What we're saying is that the concept of God, the definitive form of it, just simply means supreme being. There's all types of beings on earth, all types of civilizations, all types of cultures, all types of spiritual sciences or so-called religions. We're saying that the oldest, the original is from the black man, okay? And mathematically, that includes the brown man, the yellow man, the red man, and ultimately the white man. It also includes the black woman, the brown women, the yellow women, the red women, the white women. But if you go to the source, you're talking about the original man, okay? So when the messenger teaches us, every time you look at the black man, you're looking at God, we have to ask ourselves, is or was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a black man? Then how can he not be God? If Clarence 13X, whom we know by his holy name, and I respect his holy name, father-in-law, if he was on this planet, historically, a physical black man, how could Clarence 13X, father-in-law, before founding the 5 Percenters or what became known as the Nation of God's, I'm saying before he got knowledge of self, how could he not be God? I don't have no problem with recognizing father-in-law as a law in person. I recognize all the original people, all black men in particular, as the God, Allah, including the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, it's interesting because, you know, by chance, I just happened to catch a crack video today by the, I believe the name is the New Nation of Islam. Now, in the Belly of the Beast, I was in communication with the New World Generals over Jersey. You know what I mean? They always been raw with the messenger teachings. I had the book Uncle Yahya. In the basement in my house right now, I got old editions of Allah Muhammad Speaks newsletters that they used to publish. You know, I had the book Al Fard. I used to be confused because I was like, I didn't know them. So I thought they were saying Fard, like Master Fard Muhammad, like talking about Master Muhammad who taught down Elijah Muhammad. So I used to be looking at the dates on some of the literature like, wait a minute. This Master, what do you mean he talked to Master Fard Muhammad in the 60s? And now I mean, but then when I start doing the math, it's like, oh, okay. It made sense. And I mean, you know, I get it. Now I mean, in the day, I didn't know this, and I came across them like probably like 30, 40 years ago. Now I mean, but I just found out today that one of the, you could say, friction points that some of the believers had with them was that they was teaching that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not just the messenger of Allah, but that he also was God. Now I mean, and I could see that. I could see why they would run into trouble with some brothers and sisters because they really don't believe that the black man is God. Now I mean, but what I like to do is not give you my theories and guesses and opinions. I like to give you the original, divine, and direct teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our first, last, and only messenger. So let's look at what the messenger's message has to say to help guide us all through this age of mess. And answering this question, was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also God or Allah, the God? Let me read from the Theology of Time, 1972. In fact, I don't even want to just read. I want to give you the actual date. That way you can look it up for yourself. It's August the 20th, 1972. Okay. Now, what's interesting, I just happened to see this a couple of seconds ago, because I told you earlier, like 3 o'clock this morning, me and my wife, I got up like 3 o'clock, do some work, and my wife just came downstairs to check on me, and I turned the video on, and it was this crack MGT with these militant brothers, and I'm just looking at them, I'm like, you know, brothers from the belly of the beast when you see them, they just got this militant look. Now I mean, like, you know, I'm like, them brothers look like they just came from the penitentiary. Now I mean, and one of the brothers pointed out the messenger saying, you know, he's like, the messenger said, I think that it's time for Elijah to go back to prison to raise some more good ministers. I was like, yeah, I could tell. And then when I looked at the flyer in the back, I couldn't see it because it was real small. It said Elijah Muhammad or in the New World Nation of Islam. And the only problem they had with it was she called the brother in the belly of the beast and had the God sitting around, and they was all building, but she put it on her cell phone, and unfortunately, you know, when you at a distance with these phones, the sound is not that good. So I tried to turn it up, but it was breaking up. So then I thought about it, and I turned on the closed caption, and the good thing was the words was able to come at the bottom of the screen, so I could read what they were saying better. You know what I mean? And now that I look at this chapter that I'm going to read from, it just happened to say something corresponding to what they was talking about. I don't even know if they realize it, but the New World Nation of Islam. This is how the messenger on this August 20th, 1972 Theology of Time, he happened to mention that New World. I mean, you know, I'm going to read it for you. The messenger said, we are living in the change of worlds. The old world is going out and the new world is coming in. This is something that we all should be happy and thankful to Allah for. We should glorify his name for allowing us to live to bear witness of the change of worlds. It is a wonderful thing to bear witness of and to see your world, the new world of Islam. Now, get this, let me clarify something. I have never in my life been a follower of Ali Mahdi or the New World Nation of Islam. I never I never was a follower of any of the branches of the Nation of Islam. I've always been a follower of the messenger teachings. I support all the branches of the Nation of Islam. Personally, I consider in the past and the present, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is just the most articulate, the most organized, the most dominant minister that represents the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not nationwide to me, but worldwide. 30 years ago, I consider him the international representative of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. However, 30 years ago, I never believed that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was physically alive or coming back. Back in the day, they used to teach the message was coming back in 1985. I used to argue with brothers about that. I never believed that. Still don't believe that. I don't believe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the mother plane. I never was audited, none of that. So even though the minister may spiritually teach certain things I disagree with, 99% of the stuff he taught, I'm talking like the Farrakhan from 1955, 65, 75, 85, I would say even 95, all the way to the Million Man March. He always taught things that it'll be real hard for me to nitpick, and you know what I mean, I just be like, yeah, you know, but that's what, if you hear me teach, you're not going to agree with everything you hear me teach. You shouldn't. I mean, So that shows intelligence on your part. Now, I mean, it could be a lack of understanding on my part. We have to be humble in our positions too. But truth is the daughter of time. As time moves on, it manifest. Maybe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the mother plane, to come down and be like, oh, damn, the messenger is alive. I'm not waiting for it, but I'm saying it's possible. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. All right. How improbable it is, it's like the gods. We don't waste our time looking for that mystery God. I don't. You know what I mean? Some do. All right. So the messenger says, behold, I make all things new. That's from the Bible, book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 5. This is what the scripture prophesies of God, that for the first time you will witness seeing him in person. All in the past, except with Moses, the God was not seen in person, because it would bring about a change. The change was not to come in those days. That would have been a permanent change. Therefore, you and I are lucky to be living here today to see the God that will set up the kingdom of Islam to live forever without any future interference. Now, the messenger goes on in the same speech, and I'm quoting him. In the book form, it's on page 180, but again, it's August 20th, 1972 in the tape. He says, and I quote, it's just a lie which the devil told us, that God was not man. Let me read that one more time for you, family. It's just a lie which the devil told us, that God was not man. He know better, but he didn't want you to worship Allah as a man. He has even got some of the Orthodox Muslims believing such lies, that Allah is not a man. The Holy Quran teach you of them, saying that the messenger believes in a man. I don't like to challenge you in no such argument when I know you don't know what you're talking about. That is why we have a day of judgment, to test out all of these things that people claim to believe in. Allah says in his Holy Quran that on the judgment day, if you bring a God up besides myself, you will not be able, in words to say, to win. There is no God, he says, but me. I'm going to read this carefully. I want you to listen to this. This is the messenger himself. Quote, I am Allah, the best knower. I am Allah. That's not me repeating it twice, family. The messenger on the tape and in the book is repeating it twice himself. I'm going to read it again. I am Allah, the best knower. I am Allah. Think over that. If you want to make a spook out of me, the me here is Messenger Elijah Muhammad. If you want to make a spook out of me, look at me good. I'm not a spook, but I am Allah. I just want that to sink in. I'm going to read it one more time. If you want to make a spook out of me, look at me good. I'm not a spook, but I am Allah. The messenger, Elijah Muhammad, who said, leave my teachings as it is. Don't change the teachings while I'm gone, brothers and sisters. He said, quote, I am Allah. The messenger said that he is Allah. Period. He goes on to say, I stayed with him and he taught me for 3 years, 4 months, night and day. If you think you know Allah better than me, let me question you. If we are not going to have a thorough knowledge of God on the judgment day, when will we have thorough knowledge? I want you to remember these things. The messenger wants us to remember these things, that he said that he was Allah. The messenger of Allah said that he was Allah. We know in the fall of America in 1973, the message teaches that Allah has taken over the messenger's heart and mind. And I mean, we know the Holy Quran teaches us, that the belief in Allah is the belief in the messenger. We know the restricted laws of Islam, which is the supreme law of the nation of Islam, teaches us, to believe in Allah and his messenger. So we always see that. But what a lot of people overlooked is the messenger teaches us Allah is all of us. And every time you look at the black man, you're looking at God. The message goes on to say, we are not here to tell you other than the truth. We are here to tell you the truth because others have gone before who have done the lying and using things they had no knowledge of. They would guess, and their guessing makes mistakes. Their guessing makes mistakes. The Bible and Quran warns you against such things. One says to Abraham and Ishmael to raise up one among them. They pray for this and teach them the book, meaning the messenger says this, the Bible, and the wisdom. For many of them, they guess at it. Holy Quran chapter 62 verse 2 and Holy Quran chapter 20 verse 102. The Bible, the Biblos, the book, and the wisdom in Arabic is Hakim, the Quran, that which is to be recited. The Bible and the Quran, according to our lessons, according to the first term examination from Master Muhammad to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he asked them, who made the Holy Quran or Bible? How long ago? Will you tell us why does Islam know a history every 25,000 years? And the message explained to him that the Holy Quran or Bible is made by the original people, who is Allah. It's nothing spooky. See, this is not something coming from Brother Minister Alifullah, the 5%ers, the New World. We're just simply teaching the lessons, teaching the messenger's message in this age of mess, okay? This is what all believers supposed to be doing. The believers should believe as the messenger of Allah believes, okay? The Holy Quran, I'd like to turn your attention to something in the Holy Quran, chapter 18, verse 110. The Holy Quran teaches us, say, I am only a man like you, but I have received revelation that there is only one Rabb, or Lord. Whoever desires to meet his Lord, his Rabb, let him or her work righteousness and associate none as a partner in the worship of his Lord. Now, where the confusion comes into play is when people hear this term, the black man is God, and they look at it spiritually and separate the spirituality from the scientific, the historical, the cultural, the genetical, the natural, the reality, the haq. This is why they get into bitter or confusion, because it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to me. I couldn't teach it properly as a minister. I'm in the future, the near future, inshallah, Sakin, I was blessed today to get with a highly respected sheikh, a Sunni sheikh that has numerous videos slandering, or I'm not even going to say slander, I would say criticizing the Nation of Islam, Master Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan. They shake, they kufr. And I happen to, be able to build with the brother. And it's, we got smiling pictures. But the interesting thing to me has always been when you're able to make the messenger's message clear for the other side, it makes sense. So they be like, okay, I ain't got no problem with the way you broke that down. I got a problem with the way they teaching it. Because the way some FYs and MGTs is representing the messenger's message in an age of mess is causing a mess. Because they're literally, it's certain stuff. I be like, it's irritating because it's like, that's not the message of teachers. Know what I mean? Like people bring that mystery God into this. Know what I mean, you know, they be like, Allah is in you. See, think about that. If I teach you that Allah is in you, what do that mean? What do that say to the mathematics that the messenger taught? What do that say to nature, the universe? What does that say about cosmology and astronomy and the sciences of life? It says that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's saying that I'm teaching a mystery God. It's saying I'm teaching bitter. I'm setting up partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's saying that I'm spooked out my mind. All right? Now I mean, because if Allah come in you, you have to ask yourself, before Allah come in you, how could he be Allah? Allah exists everywhere at the same time, remember? Allah is all-knowing. It's omnipotent. And I mean, all-powerful. So if Allah come in you, that means that there was a time that he wasn't in you. You see? It's a form of technology, misinterpretation, misunderstanding on your concept of God. Okay? You know, it's so bad. I done heard brothers teach like the black man was in space floating around in the darkness without the sun, moon, and stars, but it was a physical man already. Now, I mean, it doesn't make mathematical sense. I'm telling, I know it don't make mathematical sense to our Sunni brothers. I know they look at it, y'all shirt, y'all definitely spooked out your mind, setting up partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I get it. I mean, because when they hear that, it doesn't even make sense in the Nation of Islam. That's not our teachings. I mean, you know, if you take Master Muhammad out the equation, we got dominant seeds. We got dominant idea. We got 24 scientists taking counsel and agreeing and disagreeing amongst themselves. And they say, okay, boom, we're going to produce Master Farmer. I'm going to have a son. And it's like, oh, wait, missed that time. I had a daughter. It was nothing spooky in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad whatsoever. Now, Master Muhammad studying 42 years, studying the secret vaults of Mecca, traveling all over, his father going around the world, paying all this money, buying wisdom, coming back, teaching it to his son, Master Farmer Muhammad. What to think about that? Master Muhammad's father is going to other countries. Those other countries got information that Master Muhammad's father don't have. They have information Master Muhammad don't have. They got information that's not in the secret vaults of Mecca. They got information that Elijah Muhammad don't have. Elijah Muhammad is still 85 at that time. He's still mentally dead. But this information is out there. These people already had the truth, you see? So the scientists, they understand the reality. I mean, they understand studying the sciences of life, the spiritual sciences of life. I mean, and you know, Master Muhammad is like having a glass of pure water, and Elijah Muhammad is like a clean, pure, empty glass. It wasn't clean at first and pure. Master Muhammad purified. He washed him and made him fit for him, and he poured all that water in him. So this is the wisdom, and he poured all in him. Now this messenger has to be one with Allah. He has the same idea, the same knowledge, wisdom. He tuned in. And what did the messenger do? He took this information, this knowledge, to listen, know, and observe, this wisdom, to make your knowledge known, this understanding, the picture one makes in his mind of knowledge, and he poured it on the whole nation of Islam. And he said what? He said, our Savior has arrived. Allah is all of us. He said on August 20th, 1972, he said what? He said, I'm not a spook, but I am Allah. All praises due to Allah, who's not a spook nor a spirit, family. Get that old orthodox Sunni spooky stuff out your head. Al Jadi Islam, the new Islam, is here. Our Arik Islam, that old Islam, is not what we're going back to. We're not going back 1,400 plus years ago. We don't say that the hereafter is not true. We believe in the hereafter. We believe in the here now, meaning that the original gods and goddesses on this planet is going to transform the old world into such a new world that it's going to be considered the hereafter. But now, the struggle continues. But remember, only the messenger's message will guide you through this age of mess. Peace. Don't forget to check out that new website, noireport.com. That's noireport.com. There's no spaces in between or anything. Just plain old noireport.com. Peace, family. The struggle continues.